Hi. I decided to watch K-pop Demon Hunters for the second time. It had not been that long since I had first seen K-pop Demon Hunters, and I was already feeling excited to watch it again. Because there have been times where I really loved a film after I first saw it, but I felt like uh, certain films didn't hold up that great on a rewatch, and certain films that I once really loved and thought were one of my favorites, I think are now pretty good, but not one of the best in my opinion. And I wanted to see how well K-pop Demon Hunters held up on a second viewing. And I thought it'd be interesting to see how much it held up after seeing it so soon after I saw it for the first time. Um, and I feel happy that K-pop Demon Hunters very much holds up on a second viewing, and I felt like it was important to do for K-pop Demon Hunters because there's so much style with the visuals, and there's so much fun with the songs that I think it's important to rewatch films like that to see if uh, there actually is more to the film than that. If the plot and characters are able to keep me invested and keep me feeling attached, or if it was just a bunch of nice, fun style, but not something else. But I continued feeling invested in Rumi, the main protagonist, the big focus of the film. I continued feeling really interested in the story and was able to understand things better now that I know where things go in the film. And I loved the film on a second viewing, like how I loved it on a first viewing. So I think that helped solidify to a certain degree that K-pop Demon Hunters is more than just a fad. I feel like there's a lot more to it than that. And the animation is amazing. The songs are really good, but I think that it's Rumi as a character and the storyline involving her that keeps me loving K-pop Demon Hunters, that makes it more than just a really fun, stylish experience, that makes it one of the most emotionally moving and captivating films that I've seen in a while. Um, and on second viewing, I was able to pick up on some stuff, and that's something that I do love about rewatching shows and films is that I'm able to notice stuff and appreciate stuff that I didn't on a first viewing, and I think that's really cool. Um, Something that I felt like I picked up on was I think Mira and Zoe, how they connect to the main plot because when I first watched the film, I was a bit surprised that it's very much Rumi's story with the other two uh, feeling like kind of supporting characters at times, which I actually did like, although it did take me by surprise. But I like that in addition to being characters that do help Rumi out, I feel like they have their own emotions that I feel like they're hiding. So I think that does fit in with what Rumi's hiding, what the guy that um, she was interested in was going through. I feel like it really helped things feel like it paralleled even better than I thought. So I really did appreciate that. I feel like it helped Mira and Zoe come a little bit more active as characters to me on a second viewing. So that's really cool. And the big thing that I really noticed and thought was interesting was, well, the guy that Rumi is interested in, she has a talk with him, and afterwards, the guy he has a talk with the evil demon guy, the big villain, and Rumi flashes back to Celine, and I really felt like there was a parallel between the evil demon guy and Celine, where they're both emotionally manipulative characters in the film that are really holding somebody back. And I thought that was a really interesting parallel. And uh, with the case of Celine, it's much different. I like that the demon guy and Celine are very different in terms of morality, where the demon guy very clearly a villain. With Celine, I don't consider her a villain, but I do consider her an antagonist, and I think that villain and antagonist are much different things. But I feel like even though she, I think, is trying to basically be a supporting character, a mentor character, I think in reality, she is a one of the two main antagonists of the film, along with the demon guy, even with her not being in it that much, with her really causing a lot of the emotional problems that Rumi's feeling, her insecurities, and having to hold back who she really is, keeping it from her two best friends that she's been spending her life with, that she has her career with, that she cares so deeply about, and who trust her so much. And it's very interesting. And when it comes to Rumi, it's very sympathetic and tragic, where she does love her friends and she does want to trust them, but Celine is really holding her back, like how the demon guy is holding the guy that Rumi likes from becoming a better person. So I really like that. I thought that parallel was really fascinating. I felt like it added on a new layer that I didn't notice before. And now that I fully understood what was going on with the Celine character, I appreciated that storyline with Rumi. I feel like it's very important to the film, and I feel like Celine not having that much screen time, I feel like in some ways it's a bit unfortunate. In some ways, it's actually very effective. Like, uh, I feel like the flashbacks with Celine and the big confrontation between Rumi and Celine is so good that I felt like Celine didn't need to be all over the film for that to be so emotionally effective. And it's such a great scene. And I do think it's fascinating that I have seen the film twice now, and as far as I can tell, I think that's the last time Celine properly appears in the film, not counting the closing credits. And that's kind of an interesting place. And considering that I now consider her one of the two main antagonists of the film, I do think it makes sense to leave her that way. She's a character that I very much want to be in a sequel because, with a lot of the film being about Rumi trying to get better, and definitely the guy that she's like, a lot of redemption being explored and her wanting to redeem him, and forgetting about the past, it makes me wonder, could Rumi forgive Celine now that Rumi and her friends have this closeness, and that Rumi can share who she really is with her two best friends and be more open with them? Will Celine realize that she was wrong? Will she apologize to Rumi, and will that be enough? Will she become a better mother figure? I think that's a really interesting thing to explore, and I think it's also possible that could be the last time Celine ever shows up, which I think could make sense, but I would like to see her come back because I'm wondering if she could be redeemed in something, because I really feel like she could. So the parallel stuff I thought was really interesting. I felt like there's really great parallels between Rumi and the guy, between the demon guy and Celine, and between Rumi the guy and Rumi's two friends. I feel like there's lots of really good stuff with all those characters, and I felt like all of them have a lot to them. And then, like, the manager can provide some nice comic relief while feeling genuinely nice and helpful to the characters. So I appreciate the character group even more on a second viewing. I picked up on more stuff, and I thought the parallels were a lot more interesting on a second viewing. So on a second viewing, I think that I appreciate the story of K-pop Demon Hunters and the characters even more. So I'm really glad that I watched it for the second time.